And in this house, the most dire, horrible event took place.
We are not content with the stories. Slice lives come. Be my victim.
But through watching scenes of violence, through watching scenes of transgression, through watching scenes of horror, there's an enormous amount of sort of abattoir of excess.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Good evening, chat. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Mima. Did you feel like you're going a little mad watching this film? I don't know.
I don't know what you mean. This was a 12 out of 12. This is literally the most objectively perfect film I've seen in my life. Anyone who thinks it's bad just doesn't have a brain.
Easily, I give this movie easily.
What?
Zen,
Oh,
what are
right.
you
Sorry.
giving it?
Sorry. I've got the stream on in the background. I thought you were still talking. Someone started playing again. I got very confused. I forgot I'd put it open in another tab. No, I give this stream 10 rock eyebrow raisers out of 10.
Oh,
He is very good at those eyebrow raises.
fairly restrained in this film compared
The
to some of the
amazing-
scenes I've been shown back in the backstage about wrestling.
The amazing man from Fortnite, as he was advertised on the NFL.
Dear.
I'm not joking. The NFL tweeted out the man from Fortnite when showing like a clip of him. It's like, Jesus.
Fortnite has ruined all sense of cultural progress. Fortnite is where they announced Palpatine was coming back.
They did.
How did that even happen?
It was an event. It was like an event, and his like him being like, I am back, was like played in game in Fortnite. It was terrible.
That means Fortnite is canon in the Star Wars universe.
It's also canon in Marvel, and it's also canon in DC.
I hate video games.
Yep. So, but we're not. But let's talk about someone who has yet to appear in Fortnite. The Doom guy.
Yeah, let's do that. Surely his time is due. I feel we're somewhat avoiding discussing the film.
Yeah, desperately.
I'm just waiting for Crime Guy.
Is Crime Guy alive? How are you doing,
muted
that
his
Crime
mic.
Guy?
Finally, Crime Guy has come back to double feature horror show.
It's like right in my ear, dude.
What a return. What a return. Ah, yes, folks, we are here for episode 49. Next episode is our 50th. That has come around quite quickly. And I believe it is the first episode of March is actually going to be our anniversary special. Isn't that sweet?
Nice.
Oh.
Neat.
Yes.
I will say this was not. I think my girlfriend was a little bit disappointed when this was what we watched on Halloween on Valentine's Day night.
Wow. How did you not get dubbed?
I don't know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Karl Urban. There's a lot to appreciate for the ladies.
I
right?
tell you what, I'm loving just how just everywhere Karl Urban is these days. It's great.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. It's a shame that they keep putting him in crap.
Yeah.
Well, he was in Lord of the Rings, but
He was in Lord of the Rings. He was in the Star Trek reboots. He was
he was the Doctor.
He was
Bond, wasn't he?
fantastic. Yes, he was fantastic as the reboot Dredd. Like, my God, the fact that we did not get more movies out of that is the most disappointing I've ever been in Hollywood. I want more of Karl Urban's Dredd. He's incredible.
We were robbed. We were completely
Absolutely robbed.
I'm rather fond
Once again,
of Mr.
desperately
Karl.
trying not to talk about the movie.
Unpopular opinion, but Stallone's Dredd was better.
Oh.
I don't even understand what Stallone's Dredd was saying.
That's the whole point.
I
am the law. I knew you'd say that.
God. Horrendous.
I just don't remember much of that outside the kind of cool cannibal scene. I kind of like that and the escaping through the tunnels.
Yeah.
But, Karl Urban, I'm quite fond of him. I may be misremembering, but I seem to recall he was rather wonderful in a little scene film by the name of Ghost Ship, which, it had the classic Shining references, but it also got some nice creative CGI deaths.
I've just looked it up and
really gory.
I've seen that poster everywhere, but I've never heard of this movie.
It's a good laugh. It's a really good laugh.
I
Very
feel like
schlocky.
I feel like one of my media teachers back in school might have had that poster on the wall. I think. I've not seen the Riddick movies.
We're forgetting one of the other weird roles. It's a special one. It's a very special one. Okay, folks, we should probably lean into it a bit more, not delay it too much. Although I don't know how the conversation is going. I mean, we're finishing off our wrestlers in horror movies arc tonight, and when I gave Zen the offer of some choices, when I offered Zen some options, let's go with that sentence. It's a fair bit more coherent. You went straight for Doom.
Yes.
And I can't blame you. So what made you go straight for Doom, Zen?
Well, it was the one that... Oh, God.
Doom.
It was the one that jumped out, really. It's the one that I was aware of as well. And I'm not quite as plugged in. I'm not really plugged in with wrestling at all. But... I'm just aware of this one, and like I'm aware of the Doom movie. I love the Doom franchise, so I thought, I felt like if you were gonna have me on for it, this is one of the only ones where I feel like I can actually offer some degree of, I don't want to say expertise, but I do know the Doom. I do know Doom and its stuff quite well. So, although we have to bear in mind this is pre the 2016 games, so
yes. This was released based on Doom 3, which I'm confused about whether I played that or not.
You know what? It's one of those games where you could easily be forgiven for completely forgetting that you played it. I played it and I remember nothing about it.
Was Doom 3 the one that was just completely dark all over and it was okay, good.
Yeah,
all right,
terrible.
Early 2000s Doom 3, yeah.
It was god awful.
Yes. Whereas I am a child of Doom and Doom 2, the original wonderful blocky successors to Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, they're still incredible games.
Yeah, you can have a laugh with those. And I suppose one thing we should probably talk about this. We're gonna fold the topic in, by the way, folks. We'll bring up a discussion of who The Rock is, and we'll bring in a discussion of what schlock is as it naturally occurs. But we kind of want to just get straight into it. Also, hey, Mr. Gently Benevolent, glad you can join us. Good to see you getting up nice and early to pitch in and hear us discuss Doom, of all things. So this is some interesting history, as I think. Well,
go on.
Wow, what way to approach this? This film is so... I don't know what angle to take.
It's just such a well-written film. I know what you mean. It's there's so much to talk about in terms of praising it.
Right.
There's one thing I want to talk about, which is its budget.
Ooh,
go on.
This movie is worth 2/3 of one Lord of the Rings movie.
That was its budget.
Please think about that. The Lord of the Rings movies were made with a budget of $93 million each. This is the original trilogy, not The Hobbit. But it's roughly the same time the movies were being made, early 2000s. This movie was $65 million. Now, I can only estimate how much of that was being given to The Rock, But me and my friends who were watching it, we could only estimate it was roughly 80% of the budget. I'm not going to lie. Because God knows there was no budget put towards the scriptwriter.
No. The script was, how can I say, many people had a go on it. A lot of the sort of jobbing creators tried to do some of the scripts. When I was looking at the people who'd worked on the proposals, a lot of people who, how can I say, some people who would have produced a very different film had a look at it and just passed. That would include Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg.
Yes, I nearly... oh, God.
Yeah.
We could have had Doom written by Edgar Wright. Think about that.
No, I don't blame him for not doing it. I don't think you can write a good Doom... Well, no, you probably can write a good Doom story, but I don't think it's Edgar Wright's style.
You can... No, maybe not, but... you can write a good Doom movie where it's basically just John Wick, but with demons.
John Wick 1, I hope you mean.
Yes, obviously. That's why I said John Wick.
Thank God.
Yeah. So a lot of sort of writers for hire had a go on it.
That's a good point, Bill. But the sets were pretty good, actually. I quite like the sets.
I will stand up for the look of it because they did get the good talent involved. You know, Stan Winston was involved. For people not in the know, Stan Winston is a bit of a special effects legend. You probably know him best for the Alien films, but he has had a hand in probably more influential films than I could name. But yeah, this is a bit of a troubled production. So they were originally trying to make it earlier in the 2000s, before the 2000s. But I'm going to have to speak around Susan here, guys. So read the code. There was a certain event in 1999 in a certain school that Eminem was very upset about and discussed extensively on an album. And that's a name of a school that I believe we're not meant to say on YouTube. And so, given the accusations that the two people key to that incident in the school were sort of obsessed with Doom, that shelved the production the first time. And then Warner Brothers got their hands on the rights to make the movie, but they had to put something into production and get it greenlit within 15 months. And they didn't. And so they lost the rights, and I believe the rights reverted to Universal. But part of me suspects that Universal had a similar time restraint on them because they got going very quickly. They sought a heck of a lot of contributions and spec scripts, and eventually just got working on this. The first adaptation of a Doom movie, of the Doom series. But the question I would like to lead the discussion with, guys, how doomy is this? Is this film?
So ironically enough,
it's got guns, I guess.
Ironically enough, it is very much based on the Doom franchise, but it's literally, this movie is the prologue to the Doom franchise. The original idea for the Doom Slayer is that he went rogue from his military unit after his commanding officer ordered him to kill civilians. So technically, it is drawing inspiration, but just not of the fun shit that happens afterwards. The stuff that happens at the end of this movie should have been like the midpoint.
Do you think that they were trying to hype themselves up for a sequel where all the fun stuff would happen later on?
I don't know. No, because they specifically throw away the whole hell portal thing. If that had still been in the movie, maybe.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm just annoyed, honestly. The fact that they did clearly take so much, so many things they didn't need to do, they put in there. And yet they didn't put in a good movie.
I mean, some of those things would be... So, folks, if you're not familiar with Doom, I'm going to assume most people know what we're talking about. The first-person shooter, early one. it was charming. It was before the days of Hexen and Heretic and Rise of the Triad, or about concurrent with Rise of the Triad. And very simple. You go around, it's just you, Doom guy. You go blasting all sorts of reanimated zombie soldiers and then demons, and eventually you realise that actually, gosh, your base on Mars where you've turned up is actually opening portals to hell. And just like very literally, sort of satanic imagery is everywhere, and you've got literal hell demons and cyber demons.
How do you make a bad film of that?
I know.
Well, it's interesting because they take out the hell angle, like they sort of throw in people interpreting creatures as demons, but then they go for the sort of science explains it angle. How did you feel
Chromosome
about
24. In possibly
There's-
the worst delivered line I have ever heard.
There's a very bad taste joke that I could make.
With me
but
and my
giving
girlfriend and my best
people
friend were
extra
making it.
chromosomes is
We
a
were
key
making that
point.
joke the entire
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
Let's just say this movie seems to have predicted the Predator. The Predator, not Predator.
When they
If
have
you
the
remember
autism
correctly.
chromosome.
Yeah, if you can remember correctly, that was the concept of that movie, was, autism is the next stage of human evolution. And then this movie was like 20 years before it, and it also was going in a similar vein.
See, if
Just add an extra chromosome, you become extra smart, extra strong. It's like,
Do they know what happens in real life if you add an extra chromosome?
well, you'd think they would, considering this
I
is
mean,
the fucking, like,
but this is an
80s
extra
story.
pair of chromosomes. So that's superhuman.
It's
Just
such a baffling thing. That is really this movie. It's baffling.
I thought adding an extra chromosome, I was kind of like, it's so unfortunate that if you only added one, it'd be Down syndrome. But I was kind of like, I can buy that.
It is a bullshit science explanation that I can accept. It's the second half of that explanation that I can't, which is that apparently your DNA can be evil.
Yes.
Yeah, being evil is genetic.
Yeah, and if you've not seen the movie, I'll hang on a second. I've got to find the script of the movie so I can quickly.
I can give you guys the very quick summary here, which is that you're basically your writer drank a lot and then had just absolutely whizzed through Resident Evil, Aliens, and Event Horizon, and somehow out of that mishmash came this. Your squad of Marines goes to remote science base where shenanigans are occurring, and then they find out that weird experiments were happening, including injecting extra chromosomes into people.
Yeah,
Good times.
It is. You're probably right. He probably got drunk, played Resident Evil, and based the story off that. And then he was told by the producers, like, "Oh no, we're doing Doom now." I was like, "Oh, just set it on Mars."
It's. I mean, how can I say this? I don't want to steal the point because then I think you got it much better. Like, this is basically a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
We have an interesting sort of outer layer, a sort of crispy coating of Doom with highly visible stuff. So things like the things I've got on the screen now, I've got the sort of reference to the infamous BFG. Of course, the Bioforce gun. Of course, that's what it always
I'm not gonna lie. As a mistranslation of the BFG, I'm not actually against it being the Bioforce gun.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. What does that mean?
No, it doesn't. But
yeah, I mean, The Rock does actually refer to it by what we all understood BFG to stand for. You've got the heart in the jar there for people who, I mean, this might be older knowledge now, but the heart in the jar was very reminiscent of the logo of id Software. Sorry, id Software, I should say.
It's software.
Oh gosh, we're getting hit with the bots tonight, aren't we? Shocking.
just a bit.
I'm on it.
Good stuff. The cowering scientist we have there is Dr. Carmack, that 3 is named after one of the creators of Doom. In fact, the 3 main creators of Doom all got a cute little mention in there. And then, of course, the most obvious sign that this is a Doom movie is the first-person sequence that they make you wait so long for.
I can't believe that. Nah, it's
I loved it.
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
loved it.
glorious.
It's amazing.
Glorious.
Listen, I mean,
I've seen
it took 2
homages
weeks
on
to make
YouTube.
that. It took 2 weeks to make that one scene. Amazing.
They should have used that 2 weeks to improve the script.
And the funny thing is, I think there's an extended version of it as well.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
It does have a few weird cuts in it, doesn't it?
I tell you what, that one part where he turned and there's just a zombie standing there not doing anything.
Yeah, there's a lot
of
that.
Weirdest moment.
I know.
It's mostly fine. It's just that specific one where he just turns around. It's just stood there. And like, oh, okay. I think they even play like a kind of sound, like
that's right.
sound effect over it. It's like, what the fuck?
It's really weird, isn't it? Like, just all the creatures behave completely different once you get into that sequence.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The fight with Pinky's actually quite good. I thought that might have been the second best part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is made in 2005, so we are not far out of the CGI danger zone, and I think Pinky looks absolutely amazing. If you want some interesting etymology to Pinky, do you know where the name comes from?
The brain?
I kind of walked into that, didn't I? Oh dear. No, so the nickname of Pinky Demons, whilst later adopted, they actually came from the Doom novelizations.
Oh,
there you go.
Am I the only one who read those? I mean, I didn't read all of them. I read the first 2. Yeah. I have been tempted to find them because they were...
I would not be opposed to checking those out, to be honest, because in my experience, books based on video games are often very good.
Yeah, there's lots of fun with it. Like, they start quite close to Doom and then they go wildly off from it. As far as I can tell, the writers are either Mormon or very interested in Mormonism, because from the second book, they move everything to Utah, and we start learning a lot about Mormonism. There are 4 of them, Mr. Gently Benevolent. I've read the first 2. Rather like Battlestar Galactica, the original series, which was written by Mormons and contains a lot of Mormon symbolism. I think the same thing happened in the Doom books. It is quite fascinating.
It's interesting.
They are glorious. They're very good fun, you know?
I didn't realise there was this much serious story behind Doom. I thought it was just portal to Mars, there's our excuse, shoot zombies.
Well,
or demons.
That gets us onto something that's kind of an interesting question, which is why did the movie have them?
If we're talking space Mormons, as Bilbo Balboa mentions in the chat, I mean, is that a throwback to Starship Troopers?
Oh
yeah.
You gotta respect
maybe
the
they're
hustle.
connected. Maybe they're connected.
The Mormon extremists.
The Mormon extremists.
I love they are literally set up Fort Joseph Smith. I love it. I love it. And they have the statue there as well. Sorry, we've gone on to Starship Troopers to get off Doom.
It's a much better film.
Yeah, it really is.
Question for you folks. I think the reason they go... How can I say, like, video game adaptations tend to go wildly off the source material. I think part of the problem has got to be that with a video game, you're almost always just one person encountering literally no one else.
Well,
and they can't make a movie off that.
As I said earlier, really, if this movie had simply fast forwarded the plots, that all of the stuff that you see in the movie happens in the first half of the movie, and then it had just been Karl Urban fighting demons, and he actually goes to hell and fights demons, you wouldn't really have to change much of the plot, in fairness. Like just speed it up. But okay, you would have done a bit like I don't know what they would do with the Chrome. I'm wondering if they had like lobbying from like the Christian groups to like not actually do hell.
I think they would have been okay with Doom Guy going through hell, killing demons.
You'd be surprised. They
Yeah,
get
Holy
pissy about these kind
Crusade.
of things very easily. It's weird.
Yeah, I think the issue with video game adaptations in films is basically that the people that are asked to write them don't care about them and don't put the due diligence in.
Yeah.
Whereas if Henry Cavill was a writer, and a good one,
Yes.
like you'd get the perfect video game to film adaptations, but instead you get the Mario Brothers film where the Goombas are 6 foot tall lizard creatures, and it's just I mean, the less said about that film, the better. What are other?
Agree.
Oh, Assassin's Creed was bad. Like I could follow the story of
I've seen
Assassin's
it.
Creed,
I've not
even
seen
though
it at all.
well, I watched
that.
I watched that film, and obviously the modern day bits are in English, but obviously the past is in Spanish.
Oh.
But I torrented it, so I had Arabic subtitles instead of English ones. I could still follow the story. It was that simple. Nothing interesting was happening.
Oh dear. Well, I wanna speak about the story in this movie because as Horrorshow and I have chatted about it a little bit, it feels like stuff's been removed. It really feels like I have heard that there was an unrated cut of this. I don't know if that's the version I saw on Netflix. It didn't feel very unrated. It felt pretty standard 15 with the single F-bomb at the end. It felt very typical 15 movie, to be honest. But I may be wrong. But so there's little things in the movie that when you watch the movie, you realize were just kind of pointless. Which a lot of the stuff with the team of Marines, and I'm not gonna lie, they're a fine like range of kind of like oddballs for your cast, but they don't really get anything to them until you look at it from another perspective, which is let's assume that the Rock isn't being affected by hell or anything like that. Let's just assume that it is just there is this chromosome that makes you superpowered, and that's all there is to it. And so there's no kind of like, oh, he's being affected by hell, and that's why he's being a dick. And we assume this is actually part of his character. If you read between the lines, it seems to be there was meant to be a missing reveal, but he's been killing his own soldiers a lot, and the fucking like random like group of oddballs you've got here is all that's left of the military, and that's why they can't get reinforcements. That's why they've all got such weird issues. It's because they're all that they'll send with the Rock, because they'll know he'll kill his men. Is all I feel like that was a reveal that just got removed from the movie.
Yeah, the idea that if the message is that there's this evil potential with everyone, and he's got it particularly bad because he's willing to do whatever it takes to complete them.
Disavow?
Harry.
Disavow?
Look, don't blame me. This is the script, We've got evil genes. Black guy, the evil gene. I'm sorry the script writers are racist.
In fairness, I'm pretty sure that blonde guy definitely had some evil genes in him.
I mean,
he had the rape gene.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, turning around to those birds, be like, "Oh, we're on a level 5 quarantine. I'm gonna have to strip search you."
Yeah,
he might have to. I mean, there might be a legitimate reason, but I mean,
like I say, the fact
could do with a bit more professionalism.
The fact that The Rock is such a professional guy, and that the rest of his team are like cutting themselves, they're doing drugs on the mission. It's like, I think that these are all the people that are left in the military.
Well, no, because they do mention at one point, like, "Oh, should we call backup in?" And Sarge turns around and
he
he's
says,
like,
there is no reinforcements. It's like, no one will come and help the Rock.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I will take a quick detour because we've got to do something. So before Haryan does more Haryan Lincoln Rockwell speeches. Let's do the thing we have to do on YouTube.
I got this.
Which is go for it.
I got this. So, ladies and gentlemen, layeth the smackdown on the like button. Take the subscribe button. Turn that son bitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass.
Oh, rock style, brilliant, absolutely. What have we had? Blast that like button with a BFG
I-
and pound it like a demon pounds the newest arrival down there. Done straight, Mr. Gently Benevolent. Just on the right side of family friendly.
You got to get scared of that favorite button that's in the vents and shoot your Gatling gun at it as you fall down for some reason. These scenes. What else was that? You got to get that like comment stuck in the nano wall, so that you just happen to see the missing ear.
If you've got friends who might like the stuff we do on this channel here, you can help us out by passing the videos to them like they were a strangely phallic tongue that you've just spat out. And I've got to
tag in your friends. Give them a high five. Tag them in to watch the episode.
Grab that like button as it tries to escape the holding cell on chains, and watch it as it just falls and dies instantly.
I kind of like that scene actually. That was pretty intense. I genuinely thought he might escape.
They did him dirty. Yes, smash the like button like it was a plastic screen, and your mouse button was your head. Just like smack it over and over again.
Not gonna lie, that scene there, that was me when I discovered we could have had Edgar Wright writing this movie. I was just like, no. Terrible.
But seriously, folks, thank you so much if you've done that. I gather the algorithm appreciates it. But of course, as I say every week, the best thing you can do for us is genuinely spread the word out. I don't think YouTube shows these videos to many people. So if you know someone who'd be interested in what we do, send them a link. Tell them you enjoy it. Don't give more details than that. It might scare people away. Some of the weird stuff that we end up saying. Sell it as a family-friendly stream.
Definitely.
Yeah. I believe I've also been prompted to mention the subscribe star, which we have if you do not wish to support via giving any money to YouTube. Obviously, I understand that very well, but that is there as an option if you would like to support the channel, help me pay off my Adobe fees, and help fund the more ambitious projects that I would like to do on here. But hopefully that is enough shilling. There is a subscribe star link in the description of the video if that appeals to you. But let's get back to Doom. We have done our shilling. We've been good YouTubers. I really agree with Zen that I just felt it was disjointed, and that there were lots of. How many scenes did we have in this movie of just like people just kind of go off and you don't really know where they are, and then they're killed off?
No, actually, I will say is I feel like they didn't quite pull it off, but it really felt like they were trying to establish the geography of the location. You see a lot of moments of them like going through locations to get to other locations. It felt like they were really trying to let you understand where everything was in relation to each other.
I'm not sure about that. Like I felt
that at all.
Yeah, I felt they were possibly just trying to make use of the sets, but I didn't get. They showed us a map early on, but I really struggled to follow where everything was, and I just saw lots of really dark corridors.
Yeah, and I felt like there was just a lot of stuff in there because it kind of felt or looked cool. Like
yeah.
It was more about it was more aesthetics than anything, wasn't it?
Because EFAP went through this film for one of their EFAP movies, and like when the nano wall comes up, they're just like, we've had these things called doors for like years. Why do we need a nano?
I assume that it's got something to do with the quarantine, which I'm gonna say the worst quarantine I have ever fucking seen ever. Oh, there's definitely
no, we're a family-friendly stream.
Incorrect.
I'm gonna have to start spanking you like Sargon does to Callum every time he swears. Chill out, man.
That's not very Jarvis of you.
I kind of have a goal. Like, I would like all of the Lotus Eaters to get their beards on. Like, you've seen Sargon's always bearded, right? Who's the blonde guy?
Is that Callum?
No idea.
No.
Josh.
Not Josh, but he's recently got his mustache going on.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
I know what you mean. I can't remember his name though.
Let's just call him Ian.
They all need to grow beards and mustaches. What do you reckon?
Oh, was it not the guy who was on today, Harry?
Oh,
yes,
Harry, that's it.
I love how bored we are of Doom already.
I keep trying to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It felt it kind of felt like the basic structure. Let's take the squad, let's give them all personalities, and that's fine. That's good. You should give them personalities. They've all got these little traits that you can try and help identify them with. They look vaguely different. That really helps. But they kind of just wander off, and they get killed off, and just, oh man.
Well, okay, so I
could be more efficient.
The way they talk about it at the start of the movie, but then the way they treat it is weird. Like they seem to be fully aware that there is some kind of infection and that it's meant to be a quarantine. But then they're not treating it like it's a quarantine when they get there. It's weird.
The quarantine only meant that people on Mars base stay on Mars base, and they're going in.
But they don't. That's the thing. The moment they get there, well, not the moment they get it, but after a very short period of time, they're like, right, send all the civilians back to the base in Nevada. And I'm like, no, keep the teleporter turned off. Why would you do that? You know that the situation's still bad.
Can I put this out there? Because I don't know if I'm just being very low IQ and just not following. But I found it really quite confusing that there's the basin. So they travel to the base in Nevada, and then they have to go down a lift. And then they're in a base underground in Nevada, through which they teleport to a base on Mars. And the base on Mars is also sort of almost like cut in half. It divides into two bases or rather it can seal off a whole section.
Yeah.
And there just seemed to be kind of a redundancy between what areas did people have access to and...
Well, the part I was confused about was when they're like, oh, it's under quarantine. I thought that meant, oh, okay, so the teleporter, once they go over there, is shut off. No one goes back until they figured it out. But then they're like, okay, send the people back to Earth. I'm like, what? No. Why would you do that? And they're like, yeah, no, the quarantine is the lift. That's the part you're not allowed to go up until the quarantine's lifted. And I'm like, why?
Ladies and gentlemen, Critical Drinker is going to be live streaming in 30 minutes. And it's titled Ask the Drinker. Someone send him a super chat asking him to join us here.
Oh, gosh.
Do it.
Ask him if he likes horror and or true crime.
Say
or rocks.
Yeah. Ask him, does he like wrestling and does he like Karl Urban? If so, he should join us here on Double Feature Horror Show.
Karl Urban, in fairness.
Who doesn't? Oh, gosh. So I just...
Oh, sorry, Needle and Fur. I dropped something in the chat saying favourite The Rock moments, and he goes, my favourite moment, in fact, was when D-Generation X dressed up as The Rock and the Acolytes, complete with some darkening of Triple H's face. I remember that one. Triple H, man. I ain't faking. You should have smelt what The Rock was baking.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of their best DX moments, I'll tell you. And then I'm pretty sure The Rock comes out afterwards, and because I was watching this on the network the other day, and he's acting all offended and stuff. And oh man, DX were proper clowns back in the days when it was when they were actually young enough to get away with being utter degenerates. Oh man, it wasn't the same when they revived it in the mid-2000s.
Deeply subversive.
A little bit of trivia about the movie, which I kind of predicted while watching the movie, because I was, it was about the part where they were all searching through the facility, and I turned to my girlfriend and went, "This feels like an Arnold movie. This feels like a rejected Arnold movie from the 80s." Well, when I was looking up the behind the scenes of the movie, Arnold was originally slated to be Karl Urban's character.
Yeah, really? He was going to be in the bad incident in a school edition of the movie.
Well, the Rock was supposed to be Karl Urban's character. He was supposed to be, but he turned it down for Sarge.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna lie. The one choosing to be a villain was fascinating to me.
Well, the thing is, what you got to remember at this time. This was I can't remember if he was still active in WWE at the time, but he was a heel at the time because after he wrestled Hogan at WrestleMania 18, he essentially because he started to go down the Hollywood route already at that time, and at that time he was a baby face in the company. But when he started to go down the Hollywood route, a lot of the fans, like the hardcore dedicated fans, started to feel like he was sort of turning his back on wrestling and in favor of, you know, the big payouts in Hollywood. And so when he would go back, he'd start getting boos and you know and sort of dissent from the fans. And in the end, he turned that around and created the character known as Hollywood Rock, where he would essentially just completely lean into that Hollywood persona. Like, wrestling definitely took a back seat. Like, he'd be out there cutting a promo and all of a sudden his phone would go off and it would be like some producer. He'd slate the towns. He'd slate the towns and states that he was in. He would do things like what he would do quote unquote rock concerts where he'd go out on stage with a guitar and he'd start singing songs. It's like one of them, he's like talking about Sacramento Bay. Is like, the best thing is what is it he said? I literally watched this moment ago. He's like, I'm so happy to be in Sacramento Bay, and the crowds are like, way, and he's like, the greatest thing about being here is in an hour and a half I get to leave Sacramento Bay, and they're like, oh, boo.
That's funny as fuck.
And then he sings songs and he's just like, you know, absolutely roasting the towns. And it's like,
God.
but the things it was a brilliant character, probably his best gimmick, because he leaned into that heel role so well. But yeah, I mean, so when he eventually sort of left to do sort of films full time, I could completely imagine him leaning into sort of like a villainous role, because he had such a good time doing the Hollywood Rock persona.
Yeah.
And his initial roles were pretty villainous, you know.
Yeah,
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King. He was when he did his television appearance, like TV show appearances, not that 70s show, but the DS9 one where he fought 7 of 9. Was it DS9? No, Voyager, I think it was. Voyager, sorry, where he fought 7 of 9. That was in sort of like an antagonist role. But yeah, it was a lot more effective than his first heel run, because the first heel run he did in WWF was kind of forced upon him. But again, he sort of leaned into that, and that made him into the sort of like the mega face of the company.
But just think about the sort of like the full wrestling fight they have at the end. There is an alternate universe where we got Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting The Rock.
Yeah.
Really,
I wouldn't call that a wrestling match. I did watch that scene quite carefully to see what was going on, just to see if he sort of pulled off one of his moves. And
there's one part where like he grabs his legs and he like swings them around. That felt very
yeah. I mean that's a wrestling move, but that's not in the Rock's.
No, well maybe
arsenal.
not. But there's that weird stunt where he kind of like he flips over him, then grabs him, and then flips him over him and like slams him into something weird like that, like a really acrobatic move. And I kind of loved that.
Well, they are super powered with all the extra chromosomes.
That's what I love. I wanted more
Quite
of that,
literal
honestly. That was really
retard
fun.
Oh no! Haryan! Disavow, guys. Disavow.
But
where is it? I do want to ask about this, because like this is we do have some Voyager knowledge here. How did I guess, Mr. GB? How did I guess? I just want to ask you guys though, did you feel like there was basically a huge amount of redundancy in like the stages that they had to go through? Like, it's kind of like you've got a quarantine with the doors, but you've also kind of got a quarantine with the arc. Like, you could just shut the arc off and that's enough quarantine, right? That really bugged me.
That was what I was saying. It's like they had that big vault door, and I'm like, they're going through it, and it's like, oh, they go down into the basement, like, okay, so that lifts the quarantine, and then they go to the teleporter, so I'm thinking, oh, the teleporter's the quarantine, and then there's the big like vault door, and it's like, oh wait, is that the quarantine? And it's just like, what? Also, it's a minor point, but given it's literally the final move of the movie, it really echoed with me. Throughout the movie, they're constantly bringing up, use this grenade. You need to use the grenade. Like they're yelling at Pinky to use the grenade during like the when the monsters break into the teleporter ring, and they use the grenade as like the finale kind of like big move. But they never at any point in the movie establish that it's better than just a frag grenade. I feel like we should have had a moment, some point in the start of the movie, to show how powerful the grenades were. so that we understood it.
Well, another thing with that is that it's like, oh, use the ST grenade, and the creeper guy goes, oh, but then the Ark's destroyed. How do we get back? And I'm like, oh, that's a really good question. And the Rock just ignores him. And I'm like, oh, great.
I assumed it was the orders would say that we need to get trapped here to enforce the quarantine. One would presume.
I don't know. Answer that question then, but he just completely ignores it, and I'm like, but that's a really good question. Like,
there was a part in the mid part of the movie where they're kind of like, I think it's after they've gotten out of the sewers, and there's a part where the Rock fucking like what's his name, the dickhead on the dickhead member of the group,
Goat.
No, that's the religious
Portman?
guy, Portman.
Yeah,
Portman's like just being a prat, and the Rock just turns and goes, Portman, shut the fuck up. I think me and my girlfriend both cheered when he said that. I'm like, yeah, finally.
Oh yeah,
that was a weird one. But going back to the grenades though, because this was something that stood out to me as like really weird. Like they give Pinky, played by Dexter Fletcher, in like he is great fun in this.
Best joke in the movie. Maybe one of the only jokes in the movie, but just one of the funniest lines ever. Just wait, what happened? He went to one galaxy, his ass went to another. It's just like,
it is
a low bar.
It's such a fun. I think just because the rest of the movie's played so serious, that line just jumps out at me as hilarious.
It is very weird though. Like the thing is, whilst they seem to play it straight, I think this knows it's schlock. But anyway, they give Pinky a grenade and say, you've got to stay there and not let anyone through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Pinky, if people haven't seen it, as mentioned, he's in the lower half of him is mechanized in an advanced wheelchair. He's only got the top half of his body. And we get told in a big panic that, something's coming through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And he fails to let off the grenade, and then the thing gets through the arc.
Well, he just chooses not to because he's scared. He just runs.
I was just confused about how the things... So, one, we learn the demons can get through the steel doors.
Yeah.
Which is like, but the steel doors were what was keeping everyone out initially.
Yeah.
And then how does the demon get through the arc? Like, because Pinky surely would have had to have programmed it.
Yeah.
This is where the sort of, I think there must have been some confusion about the number of redundant sort of blockages there are between the quarantine doors, the arc, and the elevator. I find myself when I watch this film getting so confused about where people are.
I gave up trying to make sense of what was where. The logic.
I never started to make sense of this movie.
Yeah.
This is what I've been saying from the moment when we first. Zen, I'm talking.
Uh-huh.
This is me interrupting you.
Fair enough.
Remember from Friday, when I was too British to interrupt, and Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch my latest Laughing at the Florida Man stream. Yeah, it's probably the best intro I've ever done. Zen has ever given me. Thank you.
Damn it.
But yeah, this is what I've been saying since we first brought this film up in conversation on like previous streams. I don't care to make sense of this film. For me, it is just it's just a senseless action movie. I never really tied the connections to Doom, although from what you guys have said, it actually does sound a lot more connected to the lore than I would first imagine. But for me, it's just an action movie, and the story doesn't matter. Things go shooty bang bang. Monsters come along, they go explode. Movie ends. That's.
But even that bit isn't cool.
Well, I say it doesn't have to be cool, but that's what it does. And I think everything else just sort of falls by the wayside, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
It does, I think, very much know what it is.
Yeah.
It knows it is schlock. It knows it's an action movie, and it knows it's on a very real level. It knows it's quite silly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it does manage to play it because, again, I mentioned I've somehow seen this movie 4 times,
I've watched it 4 times this week.
and it just goes through. it just flows, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it 4 times in the build up to this stream, and each time I watched it, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I could happily watch it again.
I don't know. Once was enough for me. Jeez.
Yeah,
but again, I just again, it's one of the, for me, it's just one of those films where you just switch off and just watch things happen. And on that note,
It's fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that made me go, "Wow, this film's terrible," was right at the start when Doom guy, he was like told, "You're not coming on this mission," and then he gets on the chopper anyway, and the sergeant's like, "Cool."
Yeah.
And then their guns say their names out loud.
I was going to talk to you about that, actually. I was going to talk to you about that, but hang on. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about this bit specifically. I did have this in mind because, no, this is at the beginning of the movie.
Yes, when they get
when they get on the helicopter.
Yeah, when they get on the helicopter. So, because I remember when we watched See No Evil, Haryan, you mentioned that you quite liked the way that the characters were introduced in that, where, you know, it was a little snapshot and it had their name and what it was they were in for. And I wanted to get your feelings as to how you felt this was, how they introduced the characters in this film, because I saw that they were all getting introduced by their guns, and I was like, I need to ask you about this.
Well, it's done. I don't know why you'd ever have a gun that speaks.
Well, Judge Dredd.
To me.
Judge Dredd.
I've never seen it.
Rocket launcher.
Well, what was good about See No Evil was that it had introduced them to you, it'd tell you what they're in for, and their character would do something relevant to that. This one's just, they're all kind of gruff guys. Like, the only interesting one was the kid, when he's like, "Oh, it says the kid." And I'm kind of like, how do you not know your own ID? How do you not know your own ID?
Well, presumably that implies that, well, and combined with what he says later to his sister, where she calls Reaper as in Grim, and he goes, "Yeah, they're soldiers, not poets." It seems to imply they don't pick their own code names; they get given to them by like everyone else, or they get given to it by like their superior.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
Stating.
Okay, but the thing is, if you're going on a mission, you're gonna know what your ID name is before the gun tells you.
I think he was hoping for a bit of an upgrade from
well,
the adolescent. Cool. I'm a bit more mature now.
Well, I mean, this shot as well, you've got on screen's dumb anyway. They're pointing their guns at each other.
I hate that. I got really pissed off when I saw that. I was like, no, stop.
Do you know another thing about this movie, apparently, that's quite bad? Throughout the movie, Sarge refers to to his colleagues as soldiers, but they're Marines, and apparently calling a Marine a soldier is a very offensive thing, because soldiers are the army and Marines are not.
Special.
Yeah, and he keeps calling them soldiers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a naughty, apparently. Also, there's one, I think, towards the end in the final fight scene when he's like, "Oh, how much have you got left?" And he's like, "Oh, I've got half a clip." And it's like, no, it's a mag, my friend. It's a mag.
I also tried to go bullet autism on the first person.
I knew. I was thinking that as well. I was like, you're not going to be able to keep up, surely.
I did, but really drunk, so I forgot. But also, there's a load of clicks, so he's reloading. So I'm like, I don't know how many magazines he has. I listened after he reloaded the last time. He shot about 10 bullets. He's shown that they have about 65 rounds in them. It wasn't half.
Do you think he had if he had not Metal Gear's, I'm talking about Solid Snake's bandana, then I would have allowed it.
Maybe. But
infinite ammo.
It's like the BFG is like, "Oh, I've got 1 round left," and I'm like, I don't know how he knows that.
The BFG does nothing in this movie. I think that's what really annoyed me the most.
Yeah.
He fires like 3 shots with it, and none of them actually hit anything. From what I remember.
Yeah.
It's the big fail gun, isn't it?
They just make big holes.
Also, why is the predominant color of this movie blue? It's a minor thing, but cinematography wise, why is there so much blue in this movie?
Surely
it'd be blue and orange.
Isn't it the impact of the 2005 game? Isn't that it? Like, where everything's really dark.
Well, everything was really dark, but I mean, I don't know. It's just an odd choice to make. I get that blue is kind of just what cinema uses as like an indicator of it's dark, but you need to see, so we'll make everything like a blue shade. But it was just odd because it eventually, like even in the poster, if you've got the poster where it's like it's the cast standing around.
Well, there's a blue poster and an orange poster.
Oh, the orange poster's terrible.
Yeah, with the grim. But I'll just get this out of the way. Devontae, the movie for next week is as a treat for Haryan. We're doing the movie Possessor from 2020.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not going to be here for that.
Are you not?
No, I told you. I told you a couple of weeks back, hadn't I? It's my son's birthday,
course,
so
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sack your son's birthday off me. Like,
you were prepared to
I've
sack
got
your
a
missus
child.
off for me.
Excuse you.
I tell you, when you sack your missus off for me, I might consider it. All right.
Has your missus been getting the sack?
Is he going to film it?
Oh,
certain websites you can pay for that.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
There you go, Devontae. If you want the advanced news on the horror homework, it is Possessor, a very different type of film. Haryan, who was the director for that? Wasn't it?
Brandon
it's the son
Cronenberg.
of, yes,
Yeah.
Cronenberg's son. I gather it's pretty
I
darn
prefer
good. I know
Lowenbrow.
Haryan is a big
I was
fan
a
of
fan.
it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Actually, while we're talking about film directors, can we get an F's in the chat for Ivan Reitman?
Oh, yeah, absolutely rotten. Yes, F's for Ivan Reitman.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died. Yeah, he died the other day.
Our tributes were coming in. Poor guy. Yeah. With the use of the BFG, I think that is an interesting one. It seems to me like there's an obvious use in the BFG that they kind of did right. Like they built it up. They didn't let them get it straight away. You know, you had to do something cool to get it. Like, that's all good. It's clearly very impressive, but the nature of the story meant that they couldn't do anything good with it. Like, I would have thought that there was a good option to, like, say, when you've got the corridor full of zombies at the end, why not let the BFG rip in that to solve your problem?
That would have been good.
Just like Reaper have it in the first person bit. Like, your film's crap. I don't care how he gets it. I'm here to see a BFG go off. He gets a chainsaw as well. I have no idea where the chainsaw comes from.
I think the chainsaw was what the monsters used to cut through the
chainsaw.
door.
That bit with the chainsaw.
They can't have like that metal on metal. No, I don't know.
I presumed it was a future chainsaw. I
think it was just like raw demon strength got through it.
There was definitely like a buzzing sound when it happened. It definitely looked like something was cutting through it. Oh god, like demons using their brute strength. The scene in the prologue's actually not terrible. Like that, just them all running away from the monsters. You know, classic horror movie thing. But when the creature like punches its way through the door, that was a terrible effect. Where it's just kind of stood there, and it really didn't look like it had actually. It looked like the door had pushed itself up with like psychic force, and it was just stood there waiting for it to happen. It didn't look like it was actually forcing its way through. That's a good shot. That's a very good shot.
That's a decent shot.
That was so dumb. Like to get that shot though, it's like I'm just gonna close the door. There was nothing behind her. It was so much time, and she was like next to her at the start of the scene, and then she's like miles behind, and then you can't even see the monster.
I think she does the convenient horror movie trips over, from what I remember.
Even so, like there's no monster behind him, and the guy's just like, "Oh, unlucky," and I'm like, "Why?" Like you don't need to panic. You can't even see the monster. She's clearly miles ahead of it. I hated him for it.
I think you meant to, in fairness.
It was dumb.
He's a scientist in a horror movie. He's always going to be evil.
But he wasn't even evil. He just went mad.
I thought he was experimenting on people.
He was, yeah. That's pretty grim and dark there.
Yeah,
it's just
a screenshot of it, which I did think in fact, I mean, for everything we're complaining about here, the film does look good when you can see stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the physical, the practical effects, like the corpse that she's like dissecting. I thought that was quite good. That was a quite good effect.
Well, it's your boy Stan Winston. Although he wasn't the only
Yeah.
one, I want to make sure I credit this guy properly because Stan Winston was in there, but he wasn't the only person working on it.
Yeah. Oh, if we're talking about good shots, I imagine you've got a picture of this, but
Yeah.
there's a shot when they're in the sewers, and that the eyes open in the darkness, and then all of the eyes appear like above it because it was like a monster with a bunch of eyes on its like head. That was scary. I actually did get quite freaked out, but that was a very good shot.
Yeah, I don't have a shot of that. I didn't actually like that monster all that much. I didn't like that design. It didn't look very Doom to me.
No, it didn't.
Sorry, the other special effects artist was Rob Ramdell. Was the other guy who's doing some of the suits, but Stan Winston was involved as well. I just want to make sure he's credited because this stuff does look good. They are great costumes. In fact, I've got my favorite one is what they call the Hell Knight, even though it looks quite different, I think, to what we get in the game called a Hell Knight. If they'd gone with the Cyber Demon, you know, that massive iconic creature, they could have easily done, I think, the BFG to kill that. But like this massive creature here, I think looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
new?
Look. Yeah. No, it looks neat.
Okay.
I
like that. I like that.
Yeah. You just can't really add more than I like it.
And that's
really all I
fine.
can say,
Yeah.
And that is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
We really should point out, like, for something that came out in 2005, there was a big insistence in this movie on using practical effects as much as possible. And I kind of wish we'd seen a bit more of them, but lots of it is shrouded in the dark. But when we see them, I think they do look fantastic.
Yeah, the darkness would have worked better with CGI stuff. But you want to kind of, if you're using practical effects, you definitely want to sort of have it out there on display so that, you know, people can really take it in. So yeah, you didn't really get too many good looks at this monster. I was a bit disappointed actually that this wasn't the big bad of the movie and they ended up being Sarge, you know?
Yeah.
I'd have liked to have seen a showdown between like Grimm and this, for example. As
Well, that's why I
to...
was saying I quite like the fight you had with Pinky because it was quite drawn out and tense.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, that felt a lot more Doom and a lot more sort of monstrous ending. And it's like they clearly had the effects to do it, but
yeah, or even if. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, God, I was just going to say, it's sort of they would have done that sort of fight against a massive demon, which they clearly could have done. In fact, I mean, they could have been doing that in 1997 if you see a movie like The Relic, where there's a massive creature there that looks amazing.
Oh, God damn it.
But they just went with, it's this plot line that they went with the extra chromosomes.
Yeah. If Hellraiser can do it, then this film can do it.
I hate the
Use the chromosomes for good, not evil.
I mean,
I hate that Netflix doesn't let you take screenshots. I was hoping to just send you that picture of the eyes because it is a really cool shot.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I can't because Netflix blacks itself out if you try and take screenshots.
Yes. You have to do it in Firefox, annoyingly, to even get screenshots. Brutal, eh?
That explains that.
You don't know what we suffer behind the scenes.
Trying
to get
that we go to.
It's a grind.
I'm watching this fight with Pinky again. I don't like it. I think it's really stupid. Pinky bites through his torch, through his brain. Well, I assume his brain's there. And the chainsaw literally comes out of nowhere. And also, John gets knocked out and Pinky doesn't kill him. What the hell's going on? It's just, This is schlock, and it's it's a Wiseau film.
To be fair, that whilst I appreciate it, I'm kind of with you on that one, and that particular fight throughout that first person bit. Like I do appreciate it, but yeah, I'm a bit like,
Just,
Yeah, like when he gets knocked. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. When he gets knocked out and then he comes
knocked
round
out.
and he's just sort of
They
looking at him like, ah. You're like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
it's like
Eat
why
him.
didn't you kill him?
Eat him.
Yeah. There's also a bit in the first person bit where he turns around, there's a zombie just like staring at him, going like laughing.
Yeah, that's what I was
and he just
talking about
shoots
earlier.
one-
We were saying backstage, yeah.
Yeah, I was so stupid.
Yeah, he sort of stands there, big old grin. You're like, what are you doing?
This is why I just didn't enjoy that scene. It's just like nothing's actually trying to kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, how's that fun?
I guess because
It's Doom on
For me-
easy mode.
I was going to say it's fun for me because it's a Doom movie. I'd seen it in the trailer. I was waiting the whole film for this first person bit, and that when they did it, it was like, yes, pure fan service. You know,
Have you,
they had
have you
that vibe for it.
ever seen Hardcore Henry?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
That's so much better than this because everyone's actually trying to kill him. Like this.
Well, it had the similar vibe of knowing how seriously to take itself. You know.
Yeah.
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 Hey, Slim, how you doing?
Again, something I brought. I can't remember if I said this backstage or if I said this at the top of the stream. But bear in mind, this movie, $60 million at the start of the 2000, like mid 2000s, just a couple of years before Return of the King, 90 million. Just think about that. Really think about that. This is 2/3 of a Lord of the Rings movie. The
Twice
budget.
the budget of Serenity.
I don't know what that is, but
The movie
The Firefly
of Firefly.
film.
oh right, okay, I've
Yeah.
never watched it.
All right.
But if we're
This
talking about,
this
if I,
didn't feel high budget.
but if I talk, it didn't, it really didn't. If we're talking about budgets though, there was a 2019 Doom movie, and I just wanted to bring this up because it made me laugh so much.
Go
There was a
for it.
2019 Doom movie, and I guarantee you, no one here will have heard of it.
Oh,
Am I right?
Is that Doom Annihilation?
That is the name of it.
I've heard of it. I did not.
I had not heard of it. It must have had some of the worst promotion ever. Its Wikipedia page does not state its budget, but I want you people to try and figure out how much money that this movie made. A Doom movie in 2019. How much money do you think it
I
made?
think EFAP covered it. Oh, I know it earned like nothing.
Less than nothing. Like for a movie,
They had to get people to pay. They had to pay people to watch it.
that would explain a lot. It made in 2019 $76,000.
What?
Yeah. It
How
was
did
direct. It was direct to video, and it only made 76 grand in domestic video sales. And I mean, it doesn't say anything about how much it made like elsewhere, but God, that's nothing.
I reckon more people have seen the EFAP of Doom Annihilation than have seen Doom Annihilation.
Almost definitely. Almost definitely.
That's how I knew about it. That's how I knew about it.
So
In Doom Annihilation, was that? Did girls get it done in that one?
They girls got it done. Yeah. Oh yeah, because there was a big thing on Twitter because she was like, they think this looks ridiculous, and it's like this 5'3" woman who's not that strong with this like massive like futuristic gun that looks like it weighs a ton, and she's like holding it like a pistol, and it's just like, yeah, that looks really weird.
apparently the director created her character inspired by Terminator and Alien. So in fairness, at least he was being inspired by the good female protagonists of movies. I'll give him that. You know, I can't get annoyed at him for that. But like, yeah, if it was bad, it was bad. I can believe it.
I'm gonna watch the EFAP Doom Annihilation after the monsters fire fireballs.
Well, no, in
that's
fairness,
in
that's
keeping with
I
the
was about to
original
say,
Doom.
at least
you
that's
know?
I know,
faithful.
but it looks like a Hadouken.
Oh, does it? Oh, does it look really bad? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So maybe they were onto
apparently-
something when they didn't do the fireballs in this.
Well, apparently the director seemed really fucking confident about the movie getting a sequel. God knows how. But apparently someone on Twitter was like, are the Barons of Hell going to be in the movie? And he's like, well, they might show up in the sequel. I'm like, what? God. I'm just blown away that a Doom movie happened in 2019 and I did not even know about it.
The woman's called Joan Dark in it.
And
It's the
yeah, she's
same woman from Perfect Dark.
inspired. No, the name's inspired by Joan of Arc. apparently.
Oh, it's grim. But Joan Dark's the name of the main character from Perfect Dark, which is a great Nintendo 64 game.
Oh, dearie me. Okay,
Or
no,
maybe Joan Dark.
I completely
Yeah, it
understand
is.
the problems. Hold on. Horrorshow, I'm DMing you this on Discord.
All right. Okay. I will
Just-
talk and I will retrieve it.
Oh, dear.
Do we have a GIF of the Hadouken?
No.
Oh.
It's
What
you'll
the-
see.
Yep. Okay, hang on.
Oh, God.
All right. Oh, my word. She can't lift that. That's made of polystyrene. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. The absolute state of this. Is it this
Oh my
one?
god, we should have done Doom Annihilation.
I think we should do
Oh,
Doom
no.
Annihilation as a sequel.
Don't.
Oh,
We need to do Doom Annihilate. We
I
need
don't
to.
have
We
a-
need to do.
What the hell?
Yeah.
We need to do. See
I'm
No
thinking
Evil
it's
2, and we
in-
need to do Doom Annihilation because.
Oh my god. Okay, I have another picture
That
of
looks
it.
probably.
Do you
Right,
want
yeah.
just like a schlock arc? Or
Hang on,
we
her
can do a
face
schlock
looks
Thursday?
her face looks
Something like
CGI. Is it?
No. That's a real woman.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
Oh, apparently this is okay. See, some of this looks decent. That's the thing. Some of this looks like Doom. Just- You know, I bet I'll be having more fun. I bet I'll be having more fun with Annihilation. That's the thing.
I mean, if
Yeah,
they
they're
actually bring in the bigger demons, I would welcome that. The idea of switching to this odd sci-fi
Apparently, it was on-
chromosome morality chromosomes that make you super strong and evil, or super strong and good.
apparently
or
it was
just
on
beardy,
Netflix
I
at
don't
one
know.
point. Maybe it's on American Netflix.
They robbed us of a
Incredible.
cyber demon, and they could have made a really good-looking cyber demon.
Yeah,
And the BFG would have had a point.
yeah. I've sent you a series of images from Doom Annihilation. It's like
Why? Why would you do this to me?
because
Oh,
I'm interested. Because I'm
That actually
fascinated.
looks kind of decent.
The
Okay,
the
right.
last one, the last one looks really good. Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a
Actually, this is
second.
funny, but it kind of the composition of that shot makes it look like a shot from the COD zombie games. Actually, a little
It's
bit.
It looks a bit PS3. I've
It
got to
does.
say.
But I feel like I would have at least like had fun watching this kind of movie. That's the thing.
This is some good
Uh,
schlock.
It really is. I think definitely sequel.
Doom Annihilation had to be disavowed by id Software. It was that bad.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they put on Twitter
What?
like, we are not involved in this film.
Oh my god.
That is incredible. That is,
Oh no.
that is
So
grim.
that's the screenshot you were talking about. It does. I
Yeah,
think it looks quite PS3.
That looks like I said,
Yeah.
that looks like the opening to one of the like it would be in part of one of the opening trailers in a COD Zombies level. But the other ones were just oh dear.
Chef's kiss.
Oh dear.
What have we got? Here's your Hadouken.
That is the only shot I could find. I couldn't find any gifts or anything, but good lord.
Wow!
I don't know, man. The
It
thing
looks like he's
that
catching
really-
it.
That looks like the imps from the original game. I like that.
I can only assume that that's
That's
a very
cool.
favourable screenshot, and that right after that looks horrid.
Hmm.
Oh no.
I've got a request to get something up here. Is it here? No. Yeah, there. Was that what you want? So was there a request to get this on? TCG?
That was the sorry. Yeah, that was the IMDb figures for Doom 2005.
Yeah. So
So
I've read that it was a rough one. Basically, with the marketing budget, they almost certainly did not get their money back. Alas.
and the other one, and the other pick.
Oh, you got another one? Hang on.
Yep.
Oh,
Am
you
I-
know
am I
what?
right?
This is perfect.
Am I right?
This is perfect. Right, hang on. Let me get this very enlarged, and we can talk about the. Let's take a quick diversion. I think.
A quick
because
diversion. We were talking about Doom Annihilation for 20 minutes.
Well, it's like we can't do the story on it. It's like the story's very
It's so
basic. They
bad.
turn it, they walk around. There's plot holes all over the place, like literally.
The guy looks like a bionicle mask.
Like,
It actually looks like someone took a light out of the bionicles. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's funny because like that's the thing. It's like it almost looks like Human Annihilation. Those screenshots, they kind of look like they were taking inspiration from the 2005 movie, because like. But when I think about Doom's like zombies, they've got like quite like smooth skin. They've got like quite like soft kind of like almost like I don't know how to put it, but kind of like quite smooth kind of like textures. And then Doom Annihilation, it's got more of the kind of like the pockmarked kind of design that Doom 2005 had. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, the zombie design it's very much like the first Resident Evil movie, basically, in this one, but they do behave very differently depending on which part of the film you're in. I want to take a moment to discuss this, because this was not only one of the topics we're going to bring up, was the Wiseau factor, the Wiseau threshold.
oh boy.
No one calls it this. I want people to call it this. I want you to use this term when we're discussing whether or not a film is so bad it's good. And if a film is so bad it's good, then it has crossed the Wiseau threshold. Now, obviously, we should know where that term is coming from. We're all cultured individuals here. We've seen The Room possibly several times. I'm not alone in that, right? Yes.
Spoon. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Yes.
The only thing better than seeing The Room is introducing someone else to The Room. First time.
It's very true.
With no warning whatsoever.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So...
I did not hit her. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
I did not.
Line.
You're our favorite customer. Oh, hi, doggy.
I quote "Oh hi doggy" constantly. Yeah. I love the line "Oh hi doggy."
It's such a weird looking dog as well, and that scene takes 1 minute. He's just in and out. Oh, here's your change. It's so weird. Why is it in there?
I think a lot of people have said, like, what is the point of that scene? It's just "Oh hi doggy."
Well, it introduces us to our most central character, Doggy.
Doggy.
Maverick Hunter. Side note, Doom Eternal did a diversity is our strength meme when the demons invaded and murdered everyone. Yes, I remember. Yes. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Who was playing it? I think, was it Sargon? I'm pretty sure Sargon played it when he's... Yeah. I heard that. It's brilliant.
So, if we're going to use the term, Fairs, no, it's the best term for it. The Wiseau threshold. No, it exists. It's really there.
No, I'm with Fairs. It is just bad, but it's rewatchable because it's so funny.
Yeah,
I've kind of got a feeling,
bad it's good.
You tend to get more horror films that get into so bad it's good than other genres.
It's because when you're
honestly yet to see one.
The thing about a movie is I think it was when they said that, like, when they say the line of his body went to one place, his ass went to another, and I had because it was really boring at that part of the movie. Me and my friends started talking, and I was like, if a joke is really bad, but you still laugh at it, is it really a bad joke?
Yes.
And it really made me think, well, no, because the point of a joke is to make you laugh. So if you laugh at it, even if it's not for the intention, even if it's because the joke was bad, did it not still succeed at what it like set out to do? And that's why I think horror movies, like when you think about like badness in that way, horror movies are trying to make you scared. But so often a horror movie, when made bad, is funny. So it's still an enjoyable experience. It's why bad comedies are often not worth your time, because when a bad comedy is a bad comedy, you're not laughing at the jokes, you're sick, and there's nothing else to the movie. But when something's trying to make you scared and you're laughing at it, it's still very enjoyable. You know, The Room, everyone views it as a comedy, but you're meant to be sad. You're meant to be feeling bad for Mark. It's meant to be like a drama, but it's funny and you're enjoying yourself. So that's the thing of the Wiseau Threshold, really, is it's meant to be making you feel one thing, but you feel another, and that other feeling is still enjoyable.
That doesn't make it good.
No, I go with Zen
No, that's
on
the whole
this.
point. The so bad it's good analogy or definition is ironic in its ironic in its nature, because you're right. The Room is not a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Objectively, is not a good movie.
I get.
Yeah. But it's so bad that you can actually watch it again because you know it's hilariously bad. It's so bad. It's like, look, mate, come here, have a look and check this and watch this. And that's what it. And I think that's what the it's good part of that means. It's not actually like you're not praising the film. I know, but I'm just clarifying because I mean, it is a terrible film. But it has that rewatchability, but like for Zen says, but for not the reasons that you'd want.
That's why I would say
they would intend.
That's why I would say Doom 2005 doesn't cross that threshold, because there's large chunks of the movie where not much is happening. I think if you take specifically the end of the movie, where The Rock's gone evil, if you just start at that point where he wakes up and he does the first person segment and then he fucking fist fights The Rock, I think that sequence there is definitely hilarious. I could enjoy watching that, but the full movie as a whole, no.
I was liking your analysis though. Like the reason it works, I've said before, this used to be a thing I'd say a lot, was that I'd go to horror because a good horror is scary and a bad horror is hilarious.
Yeah.
But the key for so bad it's good is crossing. Basically, you have an experience that the filmmaker did not intend. It's basically a death of the author thing. Like, the hilarity of The Room is it is Tommy Wiseau's complete earnest woman pill moment. And yet he wanted you to feel the tragic fate of his character, who tried so hard to help Denny, but instead everyone brings their mate to him and be like, look,
he's
going to pound a belly button for no reason.
That's why I love that one scene from The Disaster Artist. There's so much fun from The Disaster Artist, but my favorite part is the one where he goes to the movie. He goes to like the premiere of the movie, and he's really sad in the front row, and everyone around him's laughing, and he just leaves the cinema.
I've got to say, I actually had this experience, and I felt really bad. When I was in London, there's a please contain your bullying. There's a LGBT film festival that they run every year.
Oh, gay.
Oh dear.
So many. So I was there, and there was a film called The Falling, which starred Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, when, before that had completely caved in on itself and crossed its own Wiseau threshold. And it's
no,
I
completely disagree. The season
hold
8 is
hold
just
on. Hold on. So I'm watching The Falling. It's a premiere. It's got all these gay. It's basically like lesbian schoolgirl crush, but then weird stuff goes down, and it's like there's a curse on the school. The trouble is, it's so much of the horror is made up of schoolgirls like fainting and face planting on the floor, and just like the whole audience was cracking up, and the director's in the room for these serious bits, and just it's meant to be all dramatic and scary and heartbreaking. The audience is just absolutely rioting with laughter every time a schoolgirl just face plants and he's bored.
Okay, I'm reading the synopsis on Wikipedia, and Jesus Christ, I don't even want to repeat any of this because I think it might actually get you demonetized on the spot.
What, The Falling?
I'm just going to post a quote from it in the private chat, and this is like one of the first lines on Wikipedia.
I'll read it.
Oh, it's a very filthy. Yeah, that is in the movie.
Don't want
Wait,
to repeat
what?
That.
After having relations with Lydia's brother, Kenneth, in an attempt to terminate
Lydia's brother,
her,
Kenneth.
her pregnancy by another boy.
Mm.
Wait, so she
There's,
she banged her brother to try and have an abortion.
No, that's a different person. But
Yeah,
the main
that
star does bang her brother, so it's that kind of movie.
Oh God!
Incest is wincest.
What part of the LGBT is that? The
I don't
incest
want to
bit?
know.
The
I
plus.
do.
It's laying the groundwork.
Because
I want to say as well, after looking at this Wikipedia, its budget was 750 grand. It still couldn't make that back.
Yeah,
wait a minute, I'm thinking of another Lotus Eaters thing. Zen, you mentioned last week you watched Lotus Eaters, and I'm thinking back to something that I watched from them today, where they mentioned that. What was it? Something to do along the lines of LGBT activism has always had an association with criminality, and I'm just thinking of that quote that you just posted in the private chat after having Shreks with Lydia's brother.
It's referring to Abby in this, by the way.
Yeah,
from what I can tell. Although the line directly before this is Abby, who has begun to explore her sexuality. So, I mean, potentially.
I just wanted to point something out about this because I noticed this recently, and I don't think we're ever going to get to discuss this film in depth on stream rather. So I'll just go over it now. But this is
Bilbo, not the kind of bruh moment I expected.
Oh, very nice, Bilbo. So what we've actually got here, I just looked up. I noticed this months ago, but when I saw it, they had a completely different poster for this film, right?
Right.
What they've gone through is they've gone back and they've edited a pentagram and bats onto it. That was not there. They've tried to make it look a lot spookier than it actually was.
But yeah, if the pentagram wasn't there and the bats weren't there, that wouldn't look like a horror movie at all.
No. Oh gosh, it's Florence Pugh in it. Oh, the state of you, Florence Pugh. Terrible.
P.U.
You know, I'm being harsh now. I actually kind of liked that movie. It did get very disturbing. So,
I'll be right back.
I've scared Zen off with the Wincest.
I just need the toilet.
Did you say Wincest?
I love how little we're talking about Doom. I don't think.
What do you want to say about it? It's a very silly film.
I don't know. I don't know where he needs to pick up. Well, I mean, I can go through some lines that made me go, "What the hell?" Like, there's the bit where the kid, he's like, "I don't, there are 20 people."
I was going to talk about
in that room, and he, the Rock's like, "Oh, like, are they dealt with?" And he's like, "Nah, like they're just scared, like they want to get out." And he refuses to go back and kill them, so the Rock just shoots him in the head, and he dies. And Doom guy like goes down, going like, "No, it was his first mission," as if like getting shot by a superior officer matters what mission you're on. Like, I don't think it'd be good if it was his second mission. It's like that's not what you'd shout.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, after Sarge shoots kid, John Grimm. Yeah. It was his first mission, and then Sarge, and it's not gonna be my last.
It's like, and I'm like, what? How would you die if you didn't kill him? I was so confused by that.
I'm sorry, but I think The Rock knows what kind of movie he's in, and he's having fun with it.
Oh yeah, no,
and
I know.
That's what gets it over the Wiseau threshold.
Oh, this is definitely a funny film. I am there going like, what? But I'm laughing at the same time because it's so stupid. It's like when and as well the doctor who goes mad, he like rips his own ear off. So they like bring him to the infirmary, but they don't strap him down. It's like, even if he's not attacking anyone, like stop him from ripping off other body parts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although I will say, I mean, I didn't think that scene with the kid, like that moral dilemma scene, was actually that bad up until that moment where it just sort of descends into madness, because immediately after that you've got Pinky holding up the handgun at Sarge. And then, like, it's the bit where sort of like Sarge sort of looks up and he's like, "Oh, there's something behind me, innit?" And Horrorshow, you'll know what I mean. When when he picks up
yeah.
Pinky and starts swinging him around, I instantly went back to Friday the 13th. You know when those women are in the sleeping
X.
bags. Yeah, Jason X. That's it. Yeah.
They do that earlier in one of the other sequels as well. Yeah.
But it just made me think of Friday the 13th when when they're in the sleeping bags and he's just swinging them around like it's almost like Hulk and Loki, but but much better when Jason does it.
Yeah, it was one of those classic cheats of like, I'm sorry, but how has no one noticed the absolutely massive monster?
I know, right?
The whole thing is they know this is pure schlock. By the way, if you're interested in the etymology, schlock is Yiddish from Low German to, how can I say, to be kind of low quality, to strike, to pound.
Phrasing.
So something of, how can I say, something strikingly sort of offensively obvious is the roots of schlock and also schlacken.
Oh my god! I'm just going through the scene with the first person shooter mode now, and you've got the big bad going up against. Yeah, the big bad had a chainsaw in his hand.
Yeah, why
Like,
the chainsaws on Mars?
Why?
No. Again, I'm pretty sure that's what they used to cut through the vault door.
But why is the big bad carrying a chainsaw? Why? How is he holding it? I mean, his hands are going to be massive, and don't forget, like those are like giant slashing things, and we've already established that he could just punch through steel doors. Why is he carrying a chainsaw?
Why would you have a chainsaw on a base on Mars where there are no trees to use the chainsaw? That's like the only thing chainsaws are used for.
I don't know. It's Doom. There had to be a chainsaw. Honestly, I'm shocked that came back and you were still talking about the Doom movie. I'm impressed.
Well, I wanted to get us back on topic because I think we spent less than half the time here actually talking about Doom.
And why
that
can't
says a lot about the movie, to be honest.
And why can't Pinky bite through a torch?
That's a good point.
Well, it's not even that. The torch went through Pinky.
I was about to say the torch goes through the top of his head.
Doom 3
yes,
had PDA
it's one of
law.
the best bits in the fight. It's glorious.
Doom 3 had PDA law that the chainsaws were shipped by accident. Well, Doom 3 truly is a terrible game.
I'm impressed they actually came up with that as an explanation.
Oh God,
but you know, to use the EFAP argument, it wasn't in the movie, so I don't care.
Well, basically, yeah. And that's not even a good explanation. But there's the bit in the sewer as well where the creepy guy he gets pulled down.
He falls,
and it's like
it's just a fake out. He falls.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, something's pulling him under, and they're like, oh my god, what was it? It's like, oh, I fell down a hole. I'm like,
I've just realised something even more ridiculous, right? Yeah. So when Grim wakes up after he's been given the extra chromosomes thing, and he goes off and does that first person mode, he's looking for Sam.
Yeah.
Isn't
why
it?
did she leave?
Like,
is that the argument?
A, why does she leave? B, how the hell is she still alive?
Yes, I wanted to do this as well. Like, literally, it's where does she go?
Where does she go? And what? And like, what? I mean, what?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wait, no. Doesn't...
And she's unconscious as well. She's unconscious when he finds her.
Okay, actually, I want to address the evil DNA thing. So, the movie states that some people just have evil DNA, and the weird tongue monsters react to that. But then, by that implication, why are they attacking him when he's like fighting through them at the end? Because I thought, look, here's the thing, I'm actually interested in this concept of evil DNA, but the movie doesn't explain it very well. It's the one thing that I'm kind of interested in.
They really just... I don't know why.
You know what?
They just want to give them super strength? Like, look, you're tunneling on Mars. Just have demons come out of the mine.
To quote Mystery Science Theater 3000, ladies and gentlemen, they just did not care.
Yeah,
pretty much. Like, again, the thing I've said it before, but I just feel like so many scenes are missing, and in those scenes were the things that they should have cared about, including like Where does Sam go? Also, I have.
Oh God,
If
yeah.
we're talking, Fez, since you brought up Rosamund Pike, who is far too good for this movie, and I think has basically she went in, she didn't know what it was about, but she was offered the role of Rita Skeeter in Crikey, the Bots Are Lively Tonight
with her friend Helter Skelter.
Ugh. Yeah, she was offered Rita Skeeter in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and she was like, "Nah, I'm going to do Doom," and also Pride and Prejudice, which I actually like. I've seen the BBC 1990s version, and that is massively superior. But I do like the way Joe Wright directs. It's not his best, but he makes gorgeous movies. If you haven't seen Atonement, oof, wonderful stuff. We'll do anything to avoid discussing Doom, won't we?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I've noticed another massive plot hole. Like, it's just, the ST grenades
really?
destroy the Ark. So after the Rock's thrown through the Ark, he throws through a grenade into the room with the Ark on Earth. It blows up, but he still manages to get back to Earth because he's going up in the lift in the end with his sister.
Wait, no. He was still on Earth. That entire sequence, he just throws the rock.
That was
back
on
to Mars.
Earth?
Yeah.
This is why I said it's so
When did
damn
that happen?
confusing to have all the back and forth and the
they
different
all-
types of
They
quarantine.
all run back to Earth together, and that's when they meet. All the like civilians are dead, and the Rock's like kill everyone.
Yeah, This is why I stopped.
I was so
This is why I don't
confused.
even bother. This is why I don't bother trying to work out what's happening in this film. Just sit back and watch things happen.
That's weird because I could follow that fine.
When did they go back to Earth? I can't even find it.
That's the thing.
That's
It's so
right, that's-
unnecessary. The levels of just have the arc and that's it. That's all they.
It was
need.
right after they explain. Like they go back. The demons cut through the big vault
Oh,
door.
I found it.
Yeah.
How did I forget that?
You were drunk in
Because
fairness.
it's really confusing, and
drunk.
the
That
Earth
too.
site and the Mars site look identical.
They look exactly
Rory.
the same.
They
to be
do.
fair,
I will admit they really do. Yeah.
Ja,
Alright, you
Bilbo,
got me there.
leider passt das nicht hier, aber hoffentlich haben wir eine Gelegenheit, einen deutschen Horrorfilm zu schauen. So vielleicht, wenn wir, falls
Nein.
wir Experiment anschauen, dann können wir die ganze Stream auf Deutsch machen. Okay. Okay.
Why do you know
so
German?
I cannot
It's
say.
so that you can insult them in their language and get them, and actually let them know what you're saying to them.
Yeah.
And it
The
also
grammar
helps you
was
spot them
probably
chatting
awful
crap
in
against
that,
you as well.
actually, but- Yeah. But yeah, so you're just demonstrating exactly what I said. It's so confusing to have all these things like the 3 levels of quarantine, the elevator, the quarantine doors, which don't work against demons anyway, and the arc. It's so confusing. The fact that you don't even notice that, oh yeah, they've gone back to Earth. Very confusing.
Again, I noticed. I think he was just drunk.
Oh, well, I've seen this 4 times. I get confused when they're going because it doesn't flow for me. But I had another question because this is something I can't work out, and I'll happily be called foolish if this is obvious to other people. But I couldn't work it out. Where is the picture? Sorry, folks. Okay, this is apparently quite far back. Okay, it's basically about the history on. Bloomin' heck, where is it? So I'll just ask because I can't find the screenshot. It's the history of what happened on Mars. Were there humans on Mars initially before the Ark was built? That's what I'm trying to work out.
I think the idea is that the old civilization built the Ark to get to Mars,
Okay,
but I can't remember why.
wait. So there was an old civilization. That's what I was looking for.
I
Right,
think
because
so,
we've got
yeah,
fossilized
that's what
Lucy,
you
right?
Yeah, I wonder what that was about.
Whether
they
they're
were-
human or like human-like aliens,
Humanoid.
we're not sure. It's never really stated.
Okay, good. That matches my understanding. Seeing as we have fossils here that they are excavating, and they say they find the magical genes, but it turns some of
Sounds
them
like
evil.
sounds like Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat the way you described
Oh
that.
gosh. But in response to like presumably a significant amount of the population on this old colony turning evil and turning demonic, they then build the teleportation arc. Is that what happened?
Maybe, or maybe it was like ancient humans a la Assassin's Creed that used the Ark to get to Mars. I don't know. That is a good point.
I was so confused because it's like, do you really have time to create teleportation technology when your whole colony is turning into demons?
No, I have to.
I didn't follow. I'll be honest.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't really care. I kind of like the bit where they're on about extra chromosomes, but I'm like,
well, I want to know why, if just, you know, Karl Urban's Grimm, if all it took was him with his, like, you know, with his like good chromosomes to fight his way through like an entire like army of monsters, why did this ancient civilization have so much trouble with just a few, like, unless it's stating that like normally it would be 99% of people that have the evil chromosomes, that have like the evil gene. It's a good point.
Yeah, there was something about a dig site as well, and I'm only knowing this. I'm only finding this out because I'm reading the plot synopsis on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, they were like they were excavating their like
that was the whole.
Yeah, but their parents were killed in that dig apparently.
Correct.
Oh, I don't remember. Nothing to the plot.
Yeah, that was so inconsequential.
All it does is that's why these two don't like each other, because they think the other is being too dangerous in their profession or something. Okay,
I thought it was more about John not going to, or Reaper not going back to Mars, because since his parents died. Yeah, because since his parents died.
The way that I got from it, and in fairness, when it comes to contrived siblings don't like each other, the fact it seemed to be stating that like they both think the other is being like reckless in their profession that they're taking. Like, oh, she thinks that he's being reckless by being in the military. He thinks she's being reckless by staying on Mars where their parents died, and they're both like worried for the other dying. So that's why they were like bickering. I think that's not too bad of a reason to have like disagreements, though.
I suppose.
I think the Ark was actually made by humans, and this ancient civilization were just Martians. I really can't tell.
Well, I mean, the adult looks like a human. The baby doesn't.
I found it so confusing, and
it was very confusing.
Watches, and I didn't get it. I can
understand that.
John Goris, yes, we love Hostel here. I'm glad to see appreciation. There is going to be a torture porn arc. It's put off a bit, and I know the trouble is that a lot of people have said they do not like torture porn and will struggle with it. So we're going to. The torture porn stuff is going to be a little further off in the arcs, but we are going to get to it. I don't know whether I need to do funny games before that, or whether I can include it in the arc. I'm just not sure. So.
Oh, funny games is disturbing, man.
I know. It's brutal stuff.
Yeah.
Brutal stuff. But we will cover it.
It's bad.
Anything to avoid talking to.
I'm not. Well, I would quite happily avoid talking about funny games, man. That's one of those films, man. It's just damn.
I know it's an interesting one. I might maybe if we do a meta horror arc, I'll put it in that because we have nearly done all the viewing that we need to do for Cabin in the Woods.
Oh boy!
But we've got a few more to do, and then we can do Cabin in the Woods, and it'll be okay. But this has been something I've been ticking off in the background. But there's something in this movie that stood out to me. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Was the first bit when they talk about the genes? Do you remember Sam is? It's this scene actually. There's a thing where Sam does the. What's the first thing our parents told us to look for?
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Really? Do your
my
parents just-
molecular genetics is a bit rusty. It's like, why were your parents telling me?
No. See, I thought he was being sarcastic with that, but then he looks at it, he goes, and he does spot what's weird. I'm like, wait, that
Yeah.
wasn't a joke.
He delivers it completely straight, even though it's a weird line. And it's like, don't you remember when your granddad took you on his knee, gave you a Werther's original, and started talking about haplogroups and Kleins? Well, maybe some of the people in the chat are familiar, but
I also love how, like, they kind of implied that how the skeletons died. This is like, you've got to assume that that's how they found it and that's how they've kept it. But the implication is that they're protecting themselves from the Doom monsters. So if a Doom monsters attack them, you're not going to have a very well preserved skeleton, and it's not going to stay in the defensive position like that. It's just going to be destroyed.
Whoa, Haryan, how do you know? How do you know that the Doom monster didn't pose its victims afterwards?
Well, how do they get fossilized?
Like
Skeletons
Danny Warren.
Skeletons don't just become fossils. They need very specific criteria to become fossils.
The only way you'd get a preservation like that is if you had like a Mount Vesuvius in Pompeii where you get flash frozen. Yeah. That doesn't happen with Fruit of Doom monsters. Like these two people would be destroyed. But Doom guys. But John says like, oh, you don't protect your child from time like that, and it's like. But
I thought that was a decent point he made, but again, how were they fossilized?
Yeah, but it doesn't make
like
sense
that?
with the fossil.
It only makes sense. It's kind of like when you look at old dinosaur finds, and they'll be like, there's one amazing dinosaur fossil where
is it the Velociraptor and Protoceratops?
Yes. That is such an incredible.
That is an amazing one. Yeah,
it's fantastic. If you're not aware, it's literally like a Velociraptor and a juvenile Triceratops.
No. Protoceratops, different species.
Sorry, it's been a long time since I watched the documentary on it. But basically, they were fighting and then got caught in some kind of landslide or some sort of like a flash flood, and it preserved their bodies perfectly. But that's how they become fossils. You don't just skeletons don't just fossilize. They need specific criteria, and they never mention what caused it.
It's very true.
I mean, you don't necessarily know what caused it, but
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe,
that could have been a landslide.
Maybe it was the extra pair of chromosomes.
They just make your bones fossilized.
Yeah.
You guys are bringing the scientific objections here. I was just going to point out the nonsense that she says. What are you looking at? Can you see what I'm looking at? And then you look at the screen, and she then opens the document he's meant to look at.
God, I didn't even notice that.
It's no.
This film's a mess.
Oh, that's going to annoy me.
Mess.
That's going to annoy me now that you've noticed that. If I ever watch the movie again, which is unlikely, in fairness. By the way, coming full circle. If you look at, if you check your Discord.
Okay.
Horrorshow.
No.
Just to prove what I said at the start of the stream.
Oh no! All right, hang on.
Because it just made me giggle, and I just tabbed back. I tabbed back to my Facebook and I saw it and I'm like, oh yeah.
While you're doing that, she also says the fossil record indicates these people have conquered disease. We saw no genetic disorders, viruses, or cancers. So genetic disorders and cancers, fair enough. You're not going to tell if they had viruses or not.
Yeah, I was a bit confused.
Viruses definitely
I didn't have a moment to think about that, but yeah.
And you can't tell they conquered disease, I'm afraid. Guy from Fortnite, the official NFL.
Yeah.
That was mean.
Yeah.
I can't believe they got the guy from Fortnite in this film.
I didn't make it up.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. There are going to be a generation of children, right, that will only see Dwayne Johnson as either an actor or that guy from Fortnite.
No, I've heard people have said that this is a thing that they've experienced where kids seen like a stormtrooper and they've gone, oh, it's the man from Fortnite.
Yeah.
I've heard that this is actually an experience people have had. It's horrendous.
Like I'm pretty sure, Haryan, you were born the year. Well, actually, I don't know when you were born, but I'm pretty sure that you were probably an infant when he was wrestling in a wrestling ring. Yeah. You know,
but we still know it was The Rock.
Yeah, but only that's because of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, you know, you'd have to go back and look. I mean, I grew up with this guy in a wrestling ring.
I know him as The Rock, WWF superstar, blah 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 blah. Then you've got children, then you've got like young adults that will probably know him more as more of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the actor. And I would not be surprised if in like 10 or 15 years time, he's going to be that, he unironically will be that guy from Fortnite because some kid's got his bloody skin or something on Fortnite.
Yeah, he's just
I've
seen him do
the thing is, for me, don't get me wrong, I love Dwayne Johnson. I think, you know, he seems like a stand-up guy, but he's got what I call the James Corden effect, where I don't know if you remember, but Horrorshow, you'll probably remember. Do you remember? Well, yeah. No. It's not that he's a bellend, but do you remember when James Corden first came up on the scene after, you know, Gavin and Stacey? He was everywhere. He's British
still
TV.
Everywhere.
He's still everywhere, but there was a period of time where he had to. There was a period of time where he did sort of go a bit underground for a while because basically he was everywhere, and people were getting a bit wound up at the fact that he was everywhere. So he was like, right, okay. So he took a back seat, and now he's everywhere. But people seem to be fine with it now.
Yeah, he pushed it too much on the UK scene. So like mid 2000s, he did his. Comedy horror movie lesbian vampire killers,
and
which
people
everyone hated.
I hate that. I remember that as well.
And everyone was just like, mate, you know, settle down, you know, you're pushing your luck now. And he did. He sort of buggered off for a few years, and then now he's come back, and obviously he's gone to America, and they can't get enough of him. Why, I don't know. But for me, Dwayne Johnson's going through that period, and he just hasn't had that. All right, mate, chill, you know, relax stage. He's everywhere.
He might be pushing it now, but the guy's got so much charisma. He's just so darn likable.
No, I get it. You know, unlike James Corden, the Rock is very much a likable lad. But there are times, but like when my boy was like, it's the Rock, it's Dwayne Johnson who's under that mask in Fortnite, and I'm like, really?
Yep.
Really, dude? Come on, man.
I mean, at least he recognises him as the Rock beforehand, so. You know,
well, again, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, just because, you know, he'll always carry that with him. People will always know of his wrestling background. But what you got to remember as well, he's been acting for longer than he was actually in a wrestling ring.
That's very true.
He achieved everything that he did and gained the name and recognition that he did in 7 years. It's almost unheard of. I mean, Hulk Hogan was decades. You know, Steve Austin was a short period of time, but you know, he had stints in ECW, WCW before that. He was around for decades. Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, decades. Kane, decades. But The Rock did his in 7.
Very impressive. And as you say, there's a lot of amazing stuff on The Rock's filmography. And speaking of on The Rocks, what a fantastic segue into.
Oh, dearie.
Thank you very much, Rory Herbert. Much appreciated for the £2. We did do a tasty cocktail. We went with a Sazerac. I have got the stuff in for that. If you don't know, folks, that's mostly involving a bourbon with a glass washed with absinthe and some bitters. It's very nice. And I got that in because I need it for a prop. And then I realised, actually, I probably don't want to have a real Sazerac when I'm filming because I tend to film about 11 in the morning. And so I'll probably just fake it with apple juice. But then, hey, I had all the stuff for a Sazerac, so why not? But much appreciated. Yes, we had Sazeracs, and I think Valpolicella, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Bilbo, he's kind of gone sort of like talk showy these days. I believe the last time I saw of him, he did some kind of flash mob in a street with some musician, and everything I saw was people on Twitter saying they were going to kick his face in because he literally stopped a bunch of people from going to work in the morning by doing some stupid stunt.
Yeah, he was advertising the Let's Be YouTube Safe, the medical intervention that is being very advised for people at the moment.
Oh, God, he was.
He's been doing a lot of that.
I just want to say, Maverick mentions about Dwayne Johnson turning his back on Joe Rogan. If I'm completely honest, I wouldn't read too much into it. The problem is the kind of character that Dwayne Johnson is. I don't think that he's not really interested in ruffling too many feathers. And so when he initially sort of stood up for him, I don't think he was aware of the whole N-word debate and nor the context behind it. So I think, for his sake, he probably went, "Oh, okay, fair enough. I should have known about that, blah, blah, blah." Even though, like, whatever. The perfect response, go and look up Israel Adesanya, UFC, the post-fight conference after UFC 271. His response to the whole Joe Rogan stuff was brilliant, absolutely on point. And that's because that's a guy who knows Joe Rogan. I don't think, I could be mistaken, but I don't really think Dwayne Johnson really knows Joe Rogan that well, apart from, so I just don't think that Dwayne Johnson was really equipped to sort of like handle that sort of pushback from the tards on Twitter. But yeah, Adesanya was just like, "Man, F the noise, carry on. Joe Rogan's like the realest mother MRFer I know." And he was like, I can answer this question because I'm black. I was just like, yes, go for it. And he was just like, "Man, you all need to shut up, man. Leave him alone. He's the best guy."
I just want to shout out Fez here for one of the most amazing undercover references. Oh, this is some old school stuff. Dr. Terrible's House of Horrible.
Man,
Fantastic reference. Steve Coogan presented spoof of Hammer Horror from way back in the day, but I've never seen anyone mention that in years. But yes, obviously the title is a play on Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. One of the lesser known, I think, Amicus anthologies. There will be an Amicus season. It's going to happen. I can't wait to show these guys Amicus films. You guys will love it. Some amazing pimp cape action.
Oh, gotta love a pimp cape.
Yeah, we've been really
Did I say
modern
gimp
recently.
cape?
No, you did say pimp cape.
Good.
But luckily
Well,
you did follow it up with gimp cape.
Gimp cape, yeah.
Gimp cape.
Gimp cape. God.
Creamy filling.
Oh, dear.
My God.
Guys, I think we should probably wrap up our discussion.
Anything not to talk about, Dame, I suppose.
How about we give our scores, folks? What do you reckon? Scores and closing thoughts, and I'll.
Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna go. I'll go first very quickly, just because I can wrap this up really quickly. It's an action film. I do not think too much when watching it. Like I don't really think much when watching many horror films, or many films for that matter. It's just cheese. It's just, it does its job. I could watch this again just because I like The Rock. I like Dwayne Johnson. He was one of my childhood heroes growing up. This was a very middle of the road film though. At the same time, I would probably just give it a straightforward 6 out of 12 burgers with plenty of cheese, some inconsistent pickles, and some tomato ketchup with some nice plot holes in the middle.
Can I just have that score again, TCG? I got distracted by Bilbo naming the comment of the week.
It's just 6 out of 12. 6 out of 12 burgers.
6 out of 12. Pickles.
Lots of cheese, pickles, and plot hole ketchup.
Oh, definitely. It's got to be Swiss cheese, right? Loads of holes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Zen, would you like to give us closing thoughts and score?
Disappointed that it wasn't as good as it could have been. More confused at the things that it did put effort in. Again, the fact that we didn't mention it too much, but their squad is literally the RTS squad, which is just, God, why? But I still feel like I'm glad I watched it, and particularly for like the more like silly and funny parts of the movie. I'd say I give this movie about 4 rock eyebrow raisers out of 10.
Burgers, then burgers.
Rock eyebrow raisers, man. I've got to stay on brand.
Burgers.
Oh, fair play. And I'll tell you what, I'll do mine and then we'll go with Haryan's. So it's tricky because this is not. There's lots of high quality in this. Like, I do think the set design is great. It should probably be lit better and maybe differentiated a bit better, but it doesn't look cheap. And the creature effects, I think, really look good. They avoided the CGI trap, but mostly you're just not seeing much of it. So maybe the fact that you don't see it much is hiding a lot of sins. And the plot is absolute confusing nonsense, but you know what? It doesn't... It helps that it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it also plays it straight. So it's not... It's got that fine line where it isn't openly telling you it's wasting your time, but it's also knowing to sort of wink at the camera and say, look, ultimately we know this is a bit silly and we're a schlocky action film. Don't worry about it too much and just have a good time. And I kind of like that. You know, everyone puts in a decent performance. The Rock is absolutely owning it, winking at the camera lots. And there's some memorable, silly lines, like his Semper Fi MFer is just cracks me up. And the fact that I've managed to watch it 4 times means it's got to have something going for it, but it's not high quality. I probably have to say I can't give it any more than about a 6 out of 12 with lots of cheese.
Nice.
Now, Haryan.
So I'm going to talk about this film about as much as we did. 2 out of 12. That's all.
No analysis here.
What is there to analyse? I mean, it's just awful.
I've got a prediction to read out, Harry, and give me something.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No. This film was like genuinely terrible. I don't think I can in any way call it competent. Things were put in there because they thought it was cool. Half of them weren't cool. The stuff that was memorable because it was so bad. There's no coherent plot here. The Rock goes evil for like no reason, really.
What do you mean? He got the penis tongue in his neck. What more do you need?
He did have the penis tongue in his neck. You're right.
He's got them bad genes.
No, he was evil. He was evil before that, but
nothing about it made
okay,
sense.
Actually, no. There's something I want to bring up, which is like they're setting the Rock up as like evil because he's killing civilians to enforce the quarantine. But in fairness, the things that he saw on Mars, how fucked up that this thing is, and they're kind of bullshitting. Some people have good DNA; they won't go evil. It's like, you know what? I might have done what The Rock did myself if I was in that position.
Also, interestingly, like in that whole sort of like moral argument, when the kid finds those 20 people, how do they know they're not infected?
Yeah.
How do they know they're not infected? Like, seriously, I mean, they don't know what's going on. Look at the whole Rona situation. In you know, it took them months to figure out that the stuff was airborne.
There's one more scene I forgot about where I can't remember who it is, but there's when he gets zombified, he just bashes his head on the window.
Oh yeah,
and dies.
Yeah.
And I'm
I remember that.
What?
Oh, yeah, but no, get this. He did that because he knew he was turning and therefore killed himself. But even that, but in that moment, why? Because once you turn. Surely, like you're not going to be like, oh, I'm gonna. And
it looked like he already turned.
He was dead. He was dead.
Yeah, he was dead. So he literally would have turned. He wouldn't have just woken up.
It's not like someone who sees like a zombie bite on their arm. If he was awake, that means he's turned.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Exactly. Yeah, he was already clinically dead, and like wrapped in the body bag and everything. It made no sense. But no, he was killing himself because he knew he was turning, even though he'd already turned. Shut the frick up, film.
I mean, having said all this, it was a terrible film. I did enjoy it while drunk.
That Canadian guy.
What? I watched it with someone. Yeah, 2 out of 12 burgers, cheese. 2 out of 12. Yeah.
Okay, guy.
Oh, damn it! This was meant to be the redeeming score, Harry.
Oh no, this was awful.
No, I mean like my prediction.
Yeah, the prediction.
Oh,
can't wait for
this. The poor form continues. Right, prediction for Haryan. Haryan did not play Doom growing up, so the nostalgia factor is not there. He will complain that the Marines point their loaded weapons at each other, extremely inappropriately. Rosamund Pike was also pointing at the Marines inappropriately, but he'll be fine with that. There's a decent chance he'll point out that Dr. Samantha seems to know very little about what's going on in the facility. If he understood the history of the base on Phobos, he's doing better than me. Did the enlightened extra chromy bros decide to build teleport tech on the fly when the colony turned? I'm so confused. 4 watches in. He may also find the Rock to be flip-flopping in whether he's rigidly about the mission or angry about his team being put at risk. I suspect he found the story somewhat disjointed, like scenes were missing. The cheese factor will likely win him over, but it won't be a high-scoring, a comfy 6 out of 12 burgers. Lots of cheese.
Stop thinking that because I like something I'll give it a higher score. That's not how it works.
No. I've got to recalibrate because I've been terribly off.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Maybe I'll get it right for next week.
Redooming film. I love that.
Oh, good one, Fez. The puns are saving us. Well,
hang on. I will say, like 2 out of 12. Yeah, that you gave this film, but there was a literal rock in this film.
Curious.
Did you not consider this?
No.
Yes.
He's not a rock.
But you love
it is cultural appropriation. It pissed me off. That was another thing I noticed. Like, she had like ammonites behind her, like little sea creatures from Earth, but that's implied it's from the dig. Like, why?
What, you mean those little sea monkey things?
The little like round shells.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh
There's
yeah.
Watery in the background. What the hell? I 2 out of 12.
I'm pretty sure we've got some ammonite somewhere. My son's like you in that regard. He likes his rocks.
Yeah.
He had a big old like.
There's very little redeeming in this film, as I say.
I think that message. Well, there we are, folks. That is us on Doom and lots of other topics aside from Doom. Oh, scandal.
Haryan loses rock thought status. Oh no!
Give it to my boy. Real rocks, not for these fake wrestling types.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, that is us. That is our stream on Doom and many other topics. Because what the heck do you say about this film? But I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to take a rapidly different tack next week as we cover Haryan's suggestion. So your horror homework, I think I mentioned it earlier. Yeah, your horror homework for next week is 2020's Possessor. I know basically nothing about this, but it's been recommended to me by people with good taste. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be a first for me. Particularly hard to find, Haryan?
It's on Amazon for about £3.
Oh dear.
So,
all right.
I found it through my kind of. Oh, these websites have films for free. There's definitely imperfectly legal.
Bilbo, I'm going to go full subjective, man, and give it 12 out of 12 with cheese. Sad. Sod Haryan.
Sod Haryan, yeah. I mean, that's fine. I don't have an issue with the subjective. I don't have an issue with that. Why do people think I don't like subjectivity?
And then Rory follows that up with, I did offer my daughter to Haryan, but he never came up with enough camels.
Oh, God. Okay, folks, there's your horror homework. So I will thank my co-hosts and returning guests. Zen, you are always welcome.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for bearing with us, chat. I don't know how we'd get through Doom without you guys. Excellent puns tonight, by the way, chat. Very impressed. And thanks again for Rory Herbert. Much appreciated, super chat. Always helps with my prop purchasing. As the Sazerac, it's a prop, you know. It's all for the art, guys. It's all for the art.
I mentioned Dread at the start, Fez.
Yeah. I said that Sly was the best one.
Yeah. So, Zen, is there anything you would like to shill, sir?
I'm going to go... well, for the more Haryan-sided people in chat, I have just started a podcast. Very political, so if you're not into that, that's fine. Oh. But I've been getting really rimmed by my co-host, Vicar, about the branding of it.
Phrasing.
He thinks that it's really bad branding. So show him different and go and give it some love, it's all around the campfire. It's just been the pilot episode so far, mostly me laughing about the people who block me on Twitter. But we're gonna do another stream soon. Hopefully it'll go somewhere good.
Right, all around the campfire. Folks,
It should
give
be
it
in
a
the
go.
chat.
Give it a go. And Haryan, you have been very busy. I think we've got something big coming up tomorrow. Right?
My hour and a half video is only just finished rendering. I started it at the start of the stream.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to upload it overnight, and it should be up in the morning. I'm analysing how people dealt with Louis Theroux on the far right, as he calls them in America, with Nick Fuentes, Baked Alaska. I think Brittany Venti was on it as well, and I still don't really get why, outside if he wanted someone to complain about them that used to be with Nick Fuentes and all that. I'll also be on Regional Variations on Tail Features channel tomorrow, and I'm trying to get guests for Laughing at the Guardian on Friday. Oh my god, I've got 2 days. I'm so bad at that.
I'm always free if you wanna grab me for it.
Yeah, I may get back to you at some point tomorrow. I'll get that organised though.
Cool.
So there you go.
Cool beans. All right, I'm looking forward to the Theroux one because I haven't watched it, but I've seen Uproar and I'm interested. And then TCG, you've been getting back on the old Florida Man game.
Yeah, we did that on Friday. That was a really good. That was a really good laugh on Friday. So check that out. I was hoping to get a video out by today, but unfortunately my schedule's been a bit bleh, so running a little bit late. But as soon as we sort of sign off here, I will be going off to finish off editing the audio and then putting it all together. And I'm hoping to have it out this week. I'm aiming for Thursday, but I'm going to check some analytics first and confirm a release date. Thinking Friday maybe, but I'll get it out. Don't worry, I'll get it out. It'll be this week, 100%.
Nice.
And it's a good one.
All right, fantastic. As for me, I'm still owing you guys a video on Clive Barker's use of dark sexual horror. And I'm still held off by the fact that I don't want to use a lot of the terminology that I'm going to have to. So that will be in the works. There are a few things on the go, but seeing as I have no other videos, I would highly recommend going back and watching my 12 Angry Men video, as I still get angry comments on it from people who call me a gullible woman and incredibly naive for doubting the official narrative and looking into things and analysing them, which
racist.
I don't know. Interesting definition of naive and gullible, I know, but maybe give that a watch. It's one of my classics if you haven't seen it. And there is an extra stream next week on the fantastic film Saint Maud, but that is going to be we'll talk about that more in detail next week. Bilbo, if you look in my best of playlist, you can find it. It's what's it called? It's called Demoralization in Real Time, How 12 Angry Men Tricks You into Feeling Good About Bad Choices. It's about 25 minutes. It's one of the classics. Would really recommend it if none of you have watched it yet.
If you want to have a laugh as well, have a look at some of the comments in the comment section.
See people absolutely raging and saying about the film, the fictional story film. Guys, don't you know what the legal standard is? Oh, drives me mad. Drives me absolutely mad. Anyway, I will leave it there. Super Nanny is going to be ecstatic about us. I think she'll still be stinking. She's going to be stinking the Toblerone and the red wine.
You know what she's going to do, right? 10:30, she's going to burst into this room, right? Find all the lights switched off, the chairs put up on top of the tables, and nobody in here, and she's going to be disappointed because she had work to do, and we're not letting her do it because we're dipping out early.
Yeah, you know how she is. She turns up. She once she's sunk her Lamborghini, she turns up ready to kick off, and she's going to find it all calm. She's going to be disappointed.
She's going to go home and beat her wife, husband.
Oh dear.
Well, someone's got to get the unacceptable spankings.
Yeah, she'll sit there, just look forlornly at the old naughty step.
I'll say someone's going to have to go in the naughty step.
Oh, gosh. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to leave it there. You have got your horror homework. I hope you enjoyed the stream tonight. Thanks again to everyone in chat. Thank you to the co-hosts. And if you've watched this on the replay, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it there.